Okay, question number 6, and this will be our last question for this evening. With the continuing recession, there's a strong possibility that future county budgets may be difficult to balance. If faced with that situation, what actions would you take to balance our county's budget?
I think regardless of who the next Board of Commissioners is going to be and who is sitting in those seats, that is going to be the #1 issue that faces the incoming Board of Commissioners. We know that we're going to face a 5 to 6 year trend of trying to come out of this recession. There are some very early signals that we are slowly starting to do that. But county government is going to be facing a lot of challenges for the foreseeable future. And so we're going to continue to do what we have been doing. We are going to be telling our department heads and our managers, don't ask for anything more than you need. Don't give us the wants. We certainly are going to have to continue to go back to core functions for county government. We do have fewer individuals at county government, but we have been very honest and open with our employees. We're not sure that we aren't down to people. We have managed to cut positions because of attrition. We have made changes in our health care. We have tried to address many of the fiscal issues that have been confronting us for several years to come. We've been doing that for 5, 6, 7 years now. So, you know, we're not going to be doing anything different than we have been doing. And you have my word, my pledge, that we will continue to meet the obligations that we have to our constituents, because we do have some very serious obligations. We've got to provide the court system. We've got to keep that jail open. We've got to provide human services. We've got to protect children who are in homes that they are not safe in. We've got to take care of our seniors. We've got to meet those obligations. We have got to balance fiscal and social responsibility. That is the primary function of a county commissioner. It is something that I take very seriously every day, and certainly will continue to take it seriously in the years to come. Thank you.
Folks, it's probably some of you folks know, not all of you know, I watch the commodities and the dollar all the time. It's almost become a passion with me. The other morning I got to wake up 4 in the morning, I turned the computer on to see what the dollar was trading in Asia. The dollar is losing the purchasing power, and I'm going to answer this question, but I'm going to lay a base for you guys first, you folks first. The dollar is losing purchasing power, it is weakening. Brazil, Russia, China, India, and now South Africa are trading, are setting up trading minus the dollar. They do not want the dollar anymore. 2 days ago I read an article where China, Japan, and South Korea are forming an agreement to do the same thing. China and Malaysia are already trading without the dollar. They're using their own currency. It's going to get extremely tough, very extremely tough to balance this budget. That's why I'm so doggone adamant and passionate about paying this debt off. Because the 20% tax hike, it took $2.4 million of your money out of the local economy and put it into the government. $2.4 million that floats around. Here's the formula in Economics 101, I can't remember it right now, but it shows you, it's a very simple formula, how deep and how far that dollar will go. Just $1. And we just took 2.4 out. We have to cut spending. We got to cut it drastic. Because what's going to happen if inflation kicks in really hard, gasoline $7 a gallon, and you have to pay taxes, or if we have to, if the county has to come and say we need this, we need that, the money's not going to be there. Remember what I told you Mike Duke said? Our people are running out of money, and it's very viable. It could happen. Thanks, guys.
Do you mind if I smile just once during this whole evening? Hey, when you get your head beat in, it's not easy to smile. I'll be sure that I don't have salary and benefits taking up 43% of the budget, okay? I won't be sticking millions of dollars into a pension fund right before I'm ready to retire. I'm going to tell you more what I wouldn't do, okay? I wouldn't do a balancing act that cost each and every one of you $605 to make it look like it's balanced on an election year. I wouldn't remove $1.4 million from the county reserve to balance my budget. I wouldn't give a 10.6% budget increase and expect it every year and count on it. You count on not having enough money, not on money that's going to come from the state. I wouldn't ambush the taxpayers with a 20% tax increase. I wouldn't stick an 18% property tax strictly for finance charges on that $49 million debt. 18% of the budget. I wouldn't stick you for 20 years paying interest on it. I wouldn't have a county debt that's 118% of the annual budget when the experts from Wall Street claim that it should be no more than 25%. And I wouldn't ever vote myself a pay raise while I'm sticking you guys with a tax increase. Unconscionable. And thank you for your attention tonight. I hope you'll read my flyer. I have plenty of them. Did a lot of research on it and talk about hiding the devil in the details behind the front page. They did a good job on the budget.
Over the last 6 years, and if you understand how county government works, county government takes about $14 million worth of tax revenue from us as property owners every year. And the county's budget is about $40 million. So the vast majority of the county's budget comes from state and federal reimbursements that they agree to pay us because of mandated programs. Let me give you, for instance, many of you read in the paper sometime about a murder that happens. Now, when our district attorney, Jerry Spangler, has to prosecute that murder, he may need expert witnesses, he may need testimony, he may need whatever it is, it has to be brought because it's his responsibility to prove that without a shadow of a doubt. So therefore, things like that cost us money and we're mandated to provide the court system. Also in children and youth, when a child is taken out of a home and the judge court orders that that child be placed in placement somewhere, the county doesn't have we can't say no, pull that child, and that child out of placement. It doesn't work like that. And many of these children are placed in institutions somewhere or whatever that may cost a couple $100 a day. Over the last 6 years, those state and federal reimbursements to our county have dropped over $1 million a year. Now, there's only one way to make that up for county government, and that's property tax. And you know, this year, I had to vote for a property tax increase. It was the first one in 7 years. And when you look at the counties around us and the way that they've increased taxes, we have not done that. We have increased taxes one time in 7 years. And as the recession deepens or whether we come out of it, county government is fairly stable from a standpoint of revenue and expenses. So therefore, you know, I just don't think you'll see a continuing problem in county government based on that recession, short of the reduction in state and federal reimbursements.
I don't know if anyone's really addressed the question, but the question was, what would you do? I think we as a government have to pattern ourselves after what our businesses would do. What do? They consolidate, they offer fewer services, they take time and unfortunately lay people off. These are things that we don't like to talk about, but it's something that's a part of the reality of the business world. Before those that own the business can afford to lose their investment, they've got to start somewhere, and they've got to start working at it. I'm not saying we would have to do that, but those are some of the options. We have to look at the patterns that are out there. I know, as was mentioned by those that are already in office, that there are many mandates, and there are things that you absolutely have to do, and if they don't give funding for it, it kind of creates a problem. I was a school director for 8 years and chaired the VOTEC system for 6. And during that time, they were coming out with reading specialists and different people to work in the system. There was requirements that the state and federal government were making. And for the first 2 years, they funded that. But then in the third year, the district would have to take it over. So it felt good for those 2 years. And if the third year, if things were going well and enough of the tax monies were coming in, it was okay. Maybe the fourth year, things hit an economic situation, a downturn, and they had to deal with that. We have to be cautious about what we do and what decisions we do make. But sometimes we have to make some hard line decisions, and I would not want to have to do that, but if you have to, you really do. Thank you.
There are many things that this county can do to make sure the future budgets are stable and that we don't have to raise taxes again. A lot of the things that come to mind, there is some light at the end of the tunnel I do want to share with you. I just looked at the bond issue paper. By the year 2016, the one bond issue will be paid off. It's sucking out over $1 million a year in just debt service alone. So if whoever survives here to the year 2016 will get at least $1 million break that year in their budget. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. Pam's right. We are down to people. One of the things we've done, and probably I can see this continuing, we could cut our full-time staff to part-time. When we have people retire, we haven't been replacing them, but we have to replace them with some part-timers, because if we don't, our people are getting so stressed that they're all ready to give up and quit because they've been so stressed with the workload that they've had. There are some other things we can do. We can make sure that the state, we can lobby people like Carl Metzger, Rich Kasunik, and make sure that they pay the fair share that they mandate counties to do. Make sure that they give us the money to do the things that they want us to do. One of the things I hadn't supported before, but it's a possibility, and it's not real popular with taxpayers, I know, but one of the things the counties lobbied, the County Commissioner Association lobbied for last year was a 1% sales tax for each county. I know it's another tax, but the one advantage to having a 1% sales tax would be that people coming in here, which we have a lot of visitors, and this fall we're going to have 500,000 visitors here. If they paid their 1% sales tax, that would be a lot of money that could go into the county's coffers. We have no way to get money other than to raise taxes. That's simple property taxes, and I don't like it, you don't like it, no one likes it. And the other thing, Jimmy and I were talking the other day, there are only two ways for the county to get money. Number one is to raise taxes, or number two, new development. So if we could get some new business and industries in here, it's a possibility we could get those industries and their buildings that they have and some new development. Thank you.